episode of The Message Today, which is a weekly bite-sized PSHE session with music videos, spoken words, cheeky chat and life-transforming stories. Each week we're going to be looking at different topics that affect us all, and hopefully we will be able to help you to make some really great choices. Daniel and myself will be your hosts, and today we're going to be looking at the topic of prejudice and discrimination. So why don't we introduce ourselves to you first?
Hey, what's happening? It's your boy Daniel, and I'm part of an indie pop band called Brightline. Maybe you've seen us in school before, maybe you've been to one of our gigs, or maybe you've seen me previously on one of the episodes from The Message Today. We love to use our music to bring a message of hope, to tell people that in the midst of the storms of life, there is hope. And that hope has a name, and his name is Jesus. I'm so excited to jump on this adventure with you as we explore some really interesting topics.
So my name is Emma, and I run a schools project called Respect Me. Maybe you've had one of our teams in your school before. Respect Me has a heart and passion to inform, equip and empower you to make some really great choices. Both Daniel and I and the majority of our guests work for the Message Trust, which is a Christian charity with hubs all over the world. We work in schools, prisons and local communities with a particular passion for young people like yourselves, hoping that you will realise your true worth and value, enabling you to reach your full potential.
Faith is important and personal. Do you have faith, or maybe you follow a religion? My faith has helped me through some really difficult times, and I'm going to share with you a little bit about my story at the end of this session. Like me, everybody on this show is a Christian, and we found the Bible to be super useful when it comes to guidance and finding help. So every now and then, we're going to jump straight into the Bible to see what it has to say about this topic.
If you have any questions from this session, why don't you write it down and maybe talk about them in your group with your teachers afterwards. If you're personally struggling with anything that we talk about, please do think of an adult that you can trust, that you can talk to as soon as possible. That might be a parent or guardian, a youth leader, or a member of your staff at school. So let's crack on. To open up our very first session, let me introduce you to a very good friend of mine. Her name is Meg Cannon, with her spoken word, Dare to Care. This video, along with many other great mini movies, are on the Coco website, which is part of the Girls Brigade family.
I sit there and I wonder whether kindness is dying. You see, we're sitting in a coffee shop, her eyes are down, she's crying. She tells me how they pushed her, threw stuff, spread rumours, lying. I know I should just ignore it, she said. It's hard, but I'm trying. And I see this lady by the side of the road. She's old, waiting there in the cold, but no car, no person lets her by. Why? And I see words written online that are so unkind, words that can leave a mark on your mind. Unkindness, you see it everywhere, from violence and abuse to refusing to share, to pushing someone out of the group, or laughing at her hair, or ignoring that person struggling over there. The news is full of hate and sadness and corruption and war. I just don't see kindness around much anymore. But who am I to speak? I'm often so unkind. I gossip and I'm selfish. It just comes naturally. But actually, recently, I've been feeling like I want to change. Do you know what? Being kind, I've realised it's actually brave and it's strong when you offer friendship to someone who doesn't feel they belong, or when you give your attention, or when you give your time. In that moment, your light will shine. We live in a world that says, live for yourself, compete and tread on others to get status or wealth. But could we push back against that darkness of competition and greed and be kind, be thoughtful and look out for those in need? What if we could be the generation to revive kindness, bring it back to life, give it back its breath and save it from death, treating others as we'd like to be treated? Living a life of kindness is an incredible way to live. And when you make that daily choice, you'll gain more than you give. And soon, kindness will become a habit. A brilliant, beautiful habit. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. There are going to be people you don't want to be kind to, but still give kindness. against everything inside that says just walk past or hurt them back. Respond with kindness, one courageous act. Why? Because it will change you. And together, we could change the world. And in the end, we'll see kindness everywhere when we dare to care.
I loved that video. Let kindness be a habit. You only have to go online today to see that we're right in the middle of experiencing injustice and seeing the pain that comes from discrimination. So right at the beginning of this session, before we even look at this topic, we should remember how we should act, and kindness is a great place to start. But what is kindness, Daniel?
That's a great question, Emma. Kindness is a quality of being generous, friendly, and considerate. One of the ways that I show kindness is making sure that my friends are doing okay. Maybe I drop them a text, or maybe I give them a phone call. Or maybe I just invite them for a cup of coffee and I buy them a drink.
I love that. Being kind is also about respecting a person. Did you know that the Urban Dictionary defines respect as accepting people as they are, being polite and kind always, because being kind is not negotiable. There's no debate to take place. We should always treat people with respect by being kind.
Unfortunately, some choices that people make do not reflect the kindness or respect that we were talking about. So whether it's ageism, sexism, racism, classism, religious or disability discrimination, let's see why we need to do better. Let me introduce to you my friend John.
The R word, respect, what does it mean? For me growing up, it was a word that was enforced on me. Respecting your parents, teachers and people in authority. For me growing up, that's what respect was, but for me, I wasn't respected when I was born. I was born 8 weeks premature. I got told by doctors I wouldn't walk and I wouldn't talk, I'd be wheelchair bound. And growing up with that mindset, I didn't even know what the word respect was. Daily, I'd get called spaz, mong, kakan, one arm bandit, and many other names. And what you call, when you look at the word definition, the dictionary definition of respect, it's all about admiring someone's character, ability to pass achievements. But really, no one in that school respected me as a person. Even the teachers didn't really respect, because they tried to use the word, try to get people to respect me because I had a disability. I didn't respect them. They didn't try and ask me to respect me because it was John the person. And every day you're going home and I did feel rubbish. I felt really sad, and sometimes I'd cry and I wouldn't feel great about myself. But I had to look in the mirror one morning and ask myself, what does the word respect truly mean? And I love the Bible verse, Jeremiah 29 verse 11, where it talks about God saying, I have a plan for your hope and promise for the future, not a plan to harm you. And for me, that really inspired me to really change the way I view the word respect. So I started to view myself totally different, and through that, I started to my character started to come out more and more. The person who God intended to be came out more and more. So even though people call me names, even though people look at me, I just knew it was going to be different. And because I had a hope, and because I had a future, I was able to get married, I was able to have children, I was able to work for a great organisation. True respect is when you respect yourself, you can really respect others.
As human beings, we're not perfect. We all make mistakes and hurt people along the way. Maybe you've heard the phrase before, it's not the falling down, but it's the getting up that counts. It's okay to make mistakes, but let's learn and change so we won't repeat them. Let's also remember it's important to admit to these mistakes and say sorry. Sorry can heal wounds that no other word can.
Prejudice is like, I've done this in PE, something to do with hate towards a type of people. I don't know, I can't really remember. That's all I got.
When I think of that, I just think of Pride and Prejudice because I'm an English lit geek. But prejudice, something that we see way too often, and I think something that should definitely be taught more about in schools because I think people don't have a great idea about it.
Prejudice is when you like have a prejudgment of someone before you actually know them. So based on what they look like, what they're wearing, yeah, you kind of make a judgment of what person you think they are before you actually get to know them.
Not liking someone because of like maybe a physical trait that they have or things that they do. I'm not sure.
It's an issue which, to understand it, you've got to be properly educated on it.
When someone makes, I guess, an assumption off of someone without even really knowing them. So if I saw someone across the street, then I could assume whatever I like about them just based off of looks or how they walk or something like that.
Prejudice, an unfair and unreasonable opinion formed without knowledge, thought, or reason. People may decide that they don't like someone based on various things, whether that's their skin colour, their religion, or their nationality. Prejudices can lead to discrimination, hate, and throughout history, war.
Discrimination is the unjust treatment of different groups of people, especially on the grounds of race, of age, or of sex. So what that basically means is discrimination is treating somebody unfairly because of who they are or because of certain characteristics they possess that may be different from yourself. So if you have ever been treated differently because of who you are or because of certain characteristics that you possess, then you may have been discriminated against. This is a massive issue that is very prevalent in our world, in our society today, but it's not talked about enough. So many people believe that it does not even exist.
Yeah, definitely going to a British high school where it's ethnically diverse. Definitely.
Not really. A little bit at school, I'd say, to people who are maybe a bit, well, just outsiders. Some people are quite mean to them at times.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Probably mostly at school. Kids can be quite mean and pick out differences that they notice about people and then treat them differently because of it, whether it's like the geek in school, the nerd, someone that's too short, someone that's not pretty enough, someone that is black, or you know, any kind of difference. Kids can be quite mean at calling that out and treating that person unfairly.
Yes, definitely. With some of my friends, sometimes they're picked on because maybe of their religion or the colour of their skin.
Yeah, I think I've witnessed it quite a few times. Just being around your friends, they'll make jokes that I think none of us would admit to hearing or saying ourselves, but lads, we definitely do it. We 100% do it.
It's not just like racism, it can be discrimination against someone for their intelligence, their gender, their sexuality, just anything, to be honest. I think kids just kind of joke about anything and it can come across negatively.
Adiba reminds us that no one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin or his background or his religion. People must learn to hate. And if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart. Love comes more naturally to the human heart. Let's remember that truth. Let's see it as our North Star.
The Bible is full of amazing stories. One of my favourite stories is in Luke 10, and it's told by a guy called Jesus, who we believe was God's son. And the setting for this story is that Jesus is talking to a group of Jewish people, and he tells a story called the Good Samaritan. You may have heard it before. And the story goes like this. There was a Jewish man walking down the road, and he was going on like a business trip. And as he's walking down this road, suddenly a group of robbers come out. They beat him, they take his stuff, and they leave him for dead at the side of the road. Anyway, the robbers run off, and a bit later, a really respected man is walking down this same road. And he's walking down, and he's walking, and he sees this Jewish man half dead at the side of the road. He looks at him, and you know what he does? He walks off. He leaves him. Then a bit later, someone else is walking down this same street. They're walking down and they see this Jewish man half dead at the side of the road. They look at him and they walk off. And then a bit later, a Samaritan man is walking down this street. Now, what you guys need to know about Samaritans is that Samaritans and Jewish people did not get on. They were enemies. They hated one another. And so this Samaritan man, he's walking down the street and he sees this Jewish man half dead at the side of the road. He looks at him, and what do you think he does? He helps him. He picks him up, he gives him food, clothes and water. He takes him to the nearest hospital and pays for his medical bills. He goes out of his way to help this person who was supposed to be his enemy. And Jesus, he finishes the story by saying this in Luke 10, love your neighbour as yourself. Or, in other words, treat other people as you would want to be treated. That means next time you see someone who's slightly different from yourself or someone that you don't like very much, instead of saying and doing things to pull them down, say and do things to build them up. Love your neighbour as yourself. Remember, treat other people as you would want to be treated.
I believe we are all made different on purpose, and that's actually something to celebrate. You've probably heard of the phrase, don't judge a book by its cover. You might miss out on an amazing story. I think it's the same with people. Don't judge a person by the way they look. You could miss out on an amazing friendship. So maybe next time you see someone who's different to you, why don't you make the first step to say hello?
Yes, yeah, I would say at school people used to like stick things in my hair because my hair was like big and curly. I went to a majority white school and they found that quite funny. Wasn't very nice for me, but yeah, they treat me differently because of that.
No, I haven't personally experienced discrimination.
Yeah, I have. One of my mates who's black, unfortunately, someone thought they were funny and called him the N-word. I think it's just horrible.
A report in 2014 by law firm Lee Day found that 20% of disabled people felt discriminated against by their place of work. Last year's Home Office report found that hate crimes against disabled people had gone up by 14%.
Did you know that 20% of women compared to 7% of men in the UK have experienced sexual harassment at work? This is called sexism.
Did you know that 38% of people from black and ethnic minority backgrounds have been wrongly accused of shoplifting in the last 5 years compared to only 14% from white backgrounds?
Fortunately, I've managed to get a job starting from this September and I'm so grateful for that. But 3/4 of UK workers actually feel that age discrimination is an issue. And 1/3 of workers believe that they have been rejected from a job purely because of their age. This is called ageism.
In Stonewall's 2017 report, 1 in 5 people from the LGBT community had experienced discrimination based on either their sexual orientation or their gender preference in the previous year.
1 in 4 children are bullied because of their faith. I've experienced this mildly throughout primary school and high school, whether that being mocked for certain things or maybe not fully understood in an RS lesson. And actually this got worse towards 6th form when some boys thought it'd be funny to insert my face onto the body of Jesus and post it online. And I thought, nope, that has crossed the line. So I spoke to them and exaggerated how important my faith actually is to me, and they fully understood that and I respected them for it and they took it down. So my message to you is be confident in your faith, own it, because that is what makes you who you are.
Thanks, Adam, and thanks, Destiny. So, can we change the world we live in and get rid of prejudice and discrimination? Can we be part of the solution, not the problem? I reckon Nelson Mandela might be able to help us yet again. Having spent 27 years in prison in South Africa for opposing apartheid, also known as apartheid, the separation of races where white people were given power over black people, Nelson Mandela said this: education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Upon his release from prison, he became the first black president of South Africa, and apartheid officially ended.
So, education and unconditional love are the first step to change the world that we live in. Next session, we're going to be looking at the topic of love, which ties nicely in. But in the meantime, why don't you study about prejudice and discrimination and maybe ask yourself if you have any habits that may hurt instead of show love to others who are different to you. We will let you know of some great websites for you to check out at the end of this program.
So, whether it's racism, ageism, sexism, classism, religious or disability discrimination, we can do better. We need to do better. So let's hear how prejudice and discrimination affected Daniel.
Have you ever experienced people picking on you because you're different? Maybe because you're too tall, maybe because you're too small, or maybe because you're a different gender to them, or maybe because you have a different skin color. Now, I know that used to happen to me. I'm mixed race, my dad's black, my mom's white. And unfortunately, where I came from, there was loads of racism. I remember in my school, in my community, people would pick on me because of the color of my skin. Some people would say, you know what, you can't really hang out with us, man, because you're different to us. Yeah, you're kind of white. And then on the flip side, I have people saying, yo, you can't really hang out with us, man, because you're kind of different, man. You smell, you're black. So I remember being caught in the middle and thinking, why am I so different? Why can't I just be like everybody else? And why can't I be accepted? I remember people picking on my family because they were different colors. But you know what? I remember going home, crying, not liking the reflection that I saw in the mirror. I wanted to be accepted. But reading the Bible, as my parents chatted with me, I realized this. I realized that I was created with purpose. I realized that God loves me the way that I am. That God made me this way. And once I realized that, the whole way of seeing myself completely shifted. I love the color of my skin. I wouldn't change that because I know that God made me this way. So remember the words that Jesus said. Love your neighbor as yourself. What does that look like? What would it look like for you to love other people the same way that you love yourself? Doesn't matter where they come from, their religious belief, their sexual orientation, their ethnicity, to love other people the same way that you love yourself. But in order for you to be able to love other people the same way that you love yourself, you need to learn how to love yourself. See yourself the same way as God sees you. And God says that you are unique, with special value, with purpose. There is a reason as to why you're on this planet. God loves you.
Sadly, that's the end of this week's session. But as we said in the beginning, if you do have any questions from this session, why not talk about it in your groups afterwards? If you're personally struggling with anything we've spoken about, please do think of an adult that you can trust, that you can talk to as soon as possible. Please don't wait. Or why don't you check out some of these great websites? bullying.co.uk, the Lily Joe Project, Childline, and themix.org.uk.
Make sure you check out Message Live and all the band's socials, as we're going to be going live every evening. If you are a creative person, why not check out Genetic Sessions every Wednesday, and you'll be able to learn a new skill in dance, guitar, drums, or music production.
We will be back next week with another topic, so make sure you tune in.
But we want to leave you with an awesome music video from our friends LZ7. This is Peace and Love. See you next time.
If everybody loved somebody else, the world would be a better place for everybody else. So just for once you should forget about yourself, 'cause all of us just need a little bit of help. I'm talking about love, love, love. I'm here to spread peace, 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 'cause at the end of the day, that's all we really need. I'm talking about love, love, love. I'm talking about peace, 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 'cause at the end of the day, that's all we really need. I'm talking about love. Peace. Just know the way you feel inside is love and not ignored. All we have to do is go and do a little more. Cause peace and love is something that is worth us fighting for. I'm talking about love, love, love. I'm here to spread peace, peace, peace. Cause at the end of the day, that's all we really need.